What's good, Philadelphia Dance Experience? Today we have a very special guest. He is a good friend of mine from the Liquid Dance community, Chris Atkins, aka Verb. What's going on, Chris?
What's good, Dr. Haller? Just chilling, man. Nothing special.
Right on. So you're residing in Knoxville, Tennessee, yes?
Yeah, born and raised. Other than my time living in Chicago and there's a brief time in Alabama, yeah, I've been in Knoxville my whole life.
Right on. So, how did you get your dance name?
Well, so there's two parts of it. When I used to go by Eloquence because I was at a rave and a girl walked up with a name tag and saw me dancing and she said, "Oh, you dance so eloquently," and slapped a name tag on me that said Eloquence. And I went by that, but it's kind of a mouthful, right? I tried going by Ellie for a while because my rest in peace, my old crew co-founder CJ said you should just go by Ellie, and I tried that and it didn't work for me. And then. Yeah, basically verb because I'm about the action. And then I later I went out into verbal just because I wanted my dance to speak to people. I may not talk much myself, but I want my dance to speak to people.
Right on. That's awesome. Where and when did you see Liquid?
Okay, so, and I hope you don't mind me going in depth on this a little bit,
Oh,
but
please do. Yeah.
so I had Liquid being a dance that was spawned and born from the rave culture. I had no idea what Liquid was when I first experienced it, or what rave culture was in general. You got to keep in mind that this was in 2001. I'm in high school, my senior year of high school. Uh, I just turned 18. I meet up with a friend. I'll admit that I was a little bit wilder in those days, experimenting with a few substances and whatnot. But a friend of mine was just like, "Hey man, there's this crazy party. Do you want to come?" So, being that I was a little bit wilder in those days, I thought I was going to a kegger, and I was like, you know what? These guys can drink and go crazy. I'm gonna take some L. So I took some LSD, just what I thought would be a microdose. It ended up being a moderate amount. And I showed up to what I thought was going to be a character at a crazy warehouse rave, not knowing what a rave was, having no frame of reference whatsoever.
Wow.
And people there were dancing, glow sticks, doing figure eights. They were, you know, just everybody, and there was nobody. The DJ was literally in a corner, and like, I sat up and leaned up on the rail, and the DJ was literally like this. I could reach out and touch the turntables if I wanted to. He was just right there chilling, and I was just like watching him, zoned in on him. And as I looked across the room, everyone was dancing. Some people were b-boying, some people were spinning poi, some people were glow sticking and doing kind of liquid with glow sticks, and one or two people were doing very basic liquid, unevolved raw liquid, we'll call it.
Sure. Wow, that must have been a pretty powerful experience, especially if you're actually under the influence of LSD. Um, so one of the things that Chris and I want to make abundantly clear is that neither of us are advocating for the use of psychedelic substances in any way, shape, or form. One does not need to be on substances to learn this dance form or become inspired by it or any of that. Liquid dance is a legitimate dance form that can be learned in a safe space of a dance studio or even in one's own home through YouTube. You want to share some thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree with that. I will say, yes, you can learn at home through, you can learn in the studio through, excellent teachers such as David, you can learn at home through YouTube, things of that nature. But ultimately, I feel like the community is a great place. So, on a larger picture, you may want to connect to the rave scene itself, get involved in the culture, participate, go to festivals, go to raves, experience the electronic music culture as well as liquid dance culture by meeting up with other liquid dancers in person. But that being said, I have seen drugs be a hindrance to many a liquid dancer. It kind of takes them out of the game. They've um, it's not exactly a safe thing. So I can't advocate use of a substance that I feel could be dangerous to a person and actually hinder your dance career. And I will say that one of my best students in liquid dance was somebody who was sober. They progressed faster than anybody I knew, and they didn't just partake in any substances whatsoever. The crazy part of that night was that not only did I experience liquid in person, I came home and was telling a friend of mine who went to this with me, his older brother was a seasoned raver who had been and traveled the world, got really deep into 90s rave culture, and this is in the early 2000s. So he was much more experienced, and I told him, I was like, man, people there were dancing and they were doing like this thing. And it was a style of dance I've never seen before. He goes, you mean liquid? You saw liquid. And he put on he whipped up Napster real quick and downloaded some clips of Eric and the LPC, like a few of those. And that sent me on a deep dive. And I tried b-boying and I tried lots of forms of dance, and I throughout the years I still kind of touch base with those. Nothing spoke to me the way that liquid spoke to me. Whether that was the frame in which I was introduced it to that made it feel special and unique to me, like something I discovered, or whether it's the creativity that you can. There's so much freedom and room within the style to express yourself creatively. Whether it's the flow nature of it itself, whether it's the community and how it's basically just a bunch of raver nerds and a more kind-hearted, welcoming group. I think it really just has to do with the creative aspect of it that really just spoke to me, and the way that I discovered it just made it very special to me, and nothing else that. It was like nothing I'd ever seen, and I found it at the right time, right place, and I guess the right person, because liquid doesn't speak to everybody, but it spoke to me. For sure. Yeah, I mean, there was the entire LPC. D Strange was a big influence. I didn't know what tutting was until I saw D Strange do some tuts, and then I started learning tutting because of D Strange, and so he was a big influence. LPC was a big influence, but then about 8 years into my journey in liquid dance, rave culture, dancing in general, I stumbled onto flowasis.net. which was a community of liquid dancers. And from there, I gained huge inspiration from a liquid dancer named Shameless. A big inspiration, somebody who later became a roommate of mine, was Distortion.
My name is Scott Migliaccio. My dance name is Distortion. Most people know me as Scotty Distortion Miggs. I have been doing Liquid since about 2000, 2001, and I started competing and teaching probably about roughly, maybe 8 to 10 years into my journey.
Another temporary roommate for a few months was Tommy Von Flowington.
I am Thomas Perkins. My dance name is Tommy Von Flowington III. I'm born and raised in Chicago, Illinois, and I've been doing liquid dance and various other styles for about 15 years. What I really love about liquid, there's a lot of things really. I really love the overall illusion of it. I love the people and the culture surrounding it. I just love the techniques. I love the camaraderie of the community that I'm a part of.
And all three of those people were big influences. I could go on and on because as I started attending these meetups, every liquid dancer I touched base with imprinted something on me. I feel so guilty even answering this question because there's too many people to name.
Yeah, no, I understand. And it wasn't until years later that I even discovered there was this huge community of liquid dancers that primarily shared their practice online, because a lot of what was happening was there were meetups specifically for liquid, but it's the thing of it was the meetups typically took place at electronic dance music festivals, but there wasn't anything that was specifically catered towards liquid dancers until you actually started throwing events. So this is a good segue into Confluence. You want to tell me about that?
Confluence was an event that was co-founded by Mobius, Tony Mobius. He's a guy I went to high school with, and he was at the first rave I was at. We kind of been in this thing since day one together. He's a b-boy like yourself. He's a very strong b-boy, also a very strong liquid dancer. But I came to him because I was like beefing with Plain White Tom on flowasis.com. Just keyboard warrior shit, just us going back and forth, jabbing at each other, egos colliding,
A lot of basic things to help open up footwork. Dancing comes from the fucking hips.
Yes.
Don't care what anybody else tells you. Learn to use your hips, and it will open you up as a dancer.
I was pretty confident, and what's crazy is I think at the time, Tom was just light years beyond what I could comprehend. It wasn't until I started leveling up and getting better and evolving as a liquid dancer that I realized how good Plain White Tom really was. But I had a beef with him. I wanted to battle him. So I was telling Mobius about it, and he was like, dude, just host a battle and invite him. I was like, oh yeah, you know what? The community doesn't have any battles. We should do that. That would bring everybody together. Like I started thinking of all these different reasons why it would be a good idea. So him and I got together, sat down and planned it. And I was like, we were trying to come up with a name, and he was like, I was like, what's the spot where two rivers meet together, where like multiple rivers come together? And he hopped on and Googled it real quick. He was like, a confluence? I was like, yeah, a confluence.
That's what that means. I didn't even put that together until you said it. It's the spot where two rivers actually meet. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
multiple bodies of water come together.
That's incredible. I love that image. That's really powerful. What year did Confluence first happen?
2010. I was not in, like it was a real we had an amazing time. Just all it which speaks to how badly it was needed. Everybody who came had a great time, and but it was a real shit show. There's no other way there's no eloquent way for me to put it. I won't mince words and tell you that I wasn't prepared to throw an event. The DJ was like an hour and a half late. I was having a panic attack thinking, man, either the DJ's not even going to come. We're not going to have sound. Um, I did not do the best job hosting Eric. I could have done a better job being a better host for Eric, which is something that in later years I corrected. And I think anybody would tell you that I go out of my way to try and be a good host. But I just wasn't prepared for it at the time with the place in life that I was in at that moment. But yeah, we had an amazing time. Yeah.
So, fast forward a few years, you and I met
Yeah.
At an electronic dance music festival in Southern Colorado called Sonic Bloom, and I was writing my doctoral dissertation, the first in history, on liquid dance. And the crazy thing is, I knew who you were for years just via YouTube, but we'd never met in person. And this was such a wild experience because your girlfriend, now wife,
Oh yeah.
happened to also be a childhood friend of mine living next door to me in my hometown of Manhattan, Kansas, and reuniting with Rachel at that stage in this setting as a liquid dancer, and then also meeting Scotty and Tommy and Will and Jenna, all of those amazing dancers. It was like sensory overload for me.
Yeah, like at Sonic Bloom and with
Yeah.
us meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. I knew you were going to be there. I think we had touched base online beforehand or something. But not only were we passing the flow and learning and exchanging with dance, I was giving you a few little tips here and there. You were participating in the ciphers. Not only did we have that going on, but we also had you interviewing us in between. So you were busting out some interviews because you were already trying to lay the groundwork for your dissertation. So it was that was a great experience as far as liquid meetups go. I think you got one of the best ones for. Was that your first
Yep.
liquid meetup?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It was, and it was everything that I could have asked for and more. I mean, I learned so much. I learned more in 3 days than I had in the past 3 years of, I mean, it was incredible because you taught me a couple of very, very valuable lessons with liquid. And the one that I will never forget is just opening up the space behind me. Just that simple pivot turn of instead of just using the space in front of me, using all of the space around by just a simple pivot shift. And you also taught me how to clean up my walkthrough, like the box rail walkthrough, which I thought was really great. Scotty gave me pointers on how to expand my rails, and Tommy gave me some pointers on how to level change, falsify. Will, he taught me some things on how to fuse digital liquid with rails, and I mean it was really amazing. And the cipher exchange that we had during Claude Von Stroke was just incredible.
Whew. So explaining the Vreeland Award is always an emotional thing. Robert Vreeland was a liquid dancer. He went to a couple liquid meetups that I had met him at, and he had made a real impression. It's one of these things where I saw him at one point, and then just a few months later I saw him, and he had leveled up tremendously. So the Vreeland Award is a memorial award. He lost his life, what we believe to be a suicide, after an event after the Chicago Liquid Conference. Not my event, but after another event, he had lost his life. I reached out to his brother Matt and went and had dinner with Robert's family, and they said they were okay with me giving away an award in his name to kind of memorialize him. And so it's a progression award to speak to a liquid dancer who's putting in the work and growing.
Yeah. So when did you start this award? What you remember what year?
I want to say it was from the second Confluence on.
Okay, so like 2011. Okay.
2011, 2012. Yeah.
Okay. And so the last one that you gave away was actually to me.
That's true.
And I have it right there.
Nice.
And I honestly, like, receiving that to me, not even knowing who he was or ever meeting him, I still feel that weight of carrying that. So, but it's beyond just acknowledgement from you and from everybody in the community that I'm growing as a liquid dancer. I truly appreciate the impact that has for everybody. And so I not take that lightly at all. I mean, it was just a deep honor to receive.
Yeah, I appreciate that you respect the memorial aspect of it and understanding that it was placed in somebody's name, and you give the award the respect that it deserves. And I thank you for that.
The following year, 2023, I'm living in Philadelphia. I've been living there for a while, and I was living with some liquid dance friends of mine, and two of them, Riz and Nick Sector, and the three of us decided to throw Philadelphia's first ever liquid dance event. It was, like you were saying earlier, one of the most daunting tasks in terms of setting everything up. We did this completely grassroots. We did not get any funding. This was completely out of pocket, but we wanted to make that happen. We flew people out for it. We dancers, judges, DJs. And I mean, a lot of people came out on their own too, but we had people stay with us. We had an Airbnb for people. It was an amazing event, But this was a particularly special event for you because
we make a decision who's the winner of our first ever Liquid Royale. 3, 2, 1.
you won our battle. And I can't tell you how happy that made me and everybody.
This is what the fuck real underground culture is all about. This is not easy shit. You do it because you love it.
And you were not even in your best health at the time, which was incredible. So the fact that you were able to just come up there with the intent of winning, and then you did, we lost our shit. We were so happy. Like, I mean, it could not have played out better, and it could not have gone to a better human, honestly.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And if I could speak on that just briefly and just say that, like, yeah, I'm so glad that you threw that event. It gave me it gave me the opportunity to compete in something without the weight of hosting something. And also, like, I never went into one of my own events thinking I'm gonna win. I don't want to win one of my own events. Like,
yeah.
I just want to get in there and not to say that I haven't always given it my all. I've always given it my all, but you know, it's a different mindset. And I also wanted to just say that it meant a lot to me on my dance journey. I had several times where I had been in the top 4, like in all styles battles, No Excuses or Dexterity Dance League. Big events, and I've come close. And dance battles that I've gone to in Atlanta, not only Confluence with these Liquid battles, but other battles as well. I'd have my top 4, my top 8s, my top 16s. That first time you make it through prelims is a big deal to you. But out of all the things that I had done in Liquid, like, this was the thing that put the feather in the cap. It was like that one haunting thing. Yeah, no, I was sick as a dog, but thank you so much for hosting that event. It meant, and it still does. The memory I'll cherish it always. And this is dumb, but I'll never forget winning. They call it just the overwhelming feeling that shot through my body, knowing like that I had won. It was incredible. And then I gave Scotty the biggest hug. First of all, I yelled at him. I told him he was trash. And then afterwards, he started to walk away, faking like he was crying. I gave him the biggest hug, man. Like I'll never forget that feeling. Scotty's like a brother to me.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that I was there to capture that moment on film and just get everybody's response to that, including yours. You said the most. The nicest thing to me afterwards too. You came up to me and you just said, "David, I've been in this dance game for almost 25 years, and I have to say this is the highlight of my dance career." And that I just started crying. I'm not gonna lie. Here, and I want to make sure that we get a little past the flow session in, and then I'll get a final word from you. I'm just gonna throw on a track.
The hours feel like there's only some days scaring me. The hours feel like there's only some days. The hours feel like the hours feel like there's only some minutes.
Yeah. Now we've come to the end of our interview. What are your final thoughts on Liquid and how people can get into it? Do you have any advice for folks, or just any philosophy on dance in general?
Yeah, I was very alone in my first couple of years of my Liquid journey. There were a few local dancers. I'd venture to say that I was probably the best Liquid dancer in my city, even whenever I started, And yes, I saw other Liquid dancers, a couple of them here and there, but nobody really taking it seriously. Again, connecting to a community, even if it's online, that may be that, because that's whenever I started to go to meetups with other Liquid dancers. Is I went through a medium called floasis.net, which is a forum that is now since closed. I moderate a forum, or actually a Facebook group, called Liquid Dance Lab. You can hit me up on there, and I'd be glad to critique videos. If you want to send me a video, you can DM me personally, and I'd be glad to talk to you about all kinds of Liquid stuff. There's a ton of videos in Liquid Dance Lab, like tutorials, a lot of tutorials in there that you could check out. Learning from somebody like David, taking classes, things of that nature. But yeah, my biggest tip for people is going to be connect to a community. If you don't have a large network of Liquid dancers where you live, and not just a network of Liquid dancers, but a network of Liquid dancers that are creative, pushing the style, and actually challenge you.
Yeah.
Like if you're the people you're dancing with aren't inspiring you to push yourself to a new level and learn new things, then it may not. You may need to connect with some people online. It may not quite be enough. So yeah, reach out through Liquid Dance Lab, or any forum that you find.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and your love and knowledge of this culture, Chris. And I mean, you continue to be a big inspiration and influence on myself and everybody who you reach through your dance. So thank you again for everything.
Well, David, I appreciate you. I appreciate your friendship, brother. And also, I appreciate the platform to speak, share my opinions, share my thoughts. And yeah, man, I just appreciate the opportunity to be here and speak with you. And thank you, brother. I hope you have a good one.
Absolutely. Peace.
Peace.